Oi oi, welcome to Lockdown, day 110. Have you accepted God's way, or are you trying to do it your own way? Let's be honest, if there is a God and he has a way of doing something, it's probably going to be better than your way and my way. In fact, when you do things your way, when you try and live out your own plan, it tends to end in disaster. You tend to end up, even with the best intentions, hurting those around you, messing up, hurting yourself, all going a bit pear-shaped and Pete Tong. Where if you go God's way, the opposite happens. And it says this, and I pray this would not be true of any of us. They don't understand God's way of making people right with himself. Most of the world doesn't understand it. They don't understand God's way of how to get right with him. They think if I'm a good person, they think if I do religion, if I get religion, if I pray loads of times a day, if I do this, if I give money to the poor, if I give money to religious things, if I read a religious book, if I do religious things, then I'm a really, really good person. Maybe that will make up for all the bad and I'll get in with God, I'll get a relationship with him. That's completely twisted and wrong. That's not what it says in God's book, the Bible. He says people refuse to accept his way. They cling to their own way of getting right with God by trying to obey the law. The law of God will never make you right with him by obeying it. Jesus said your righteousness of obeying God's law has to supersede that of the Pharisees, who at the time of Jesus were experts in religious law, and they didn't just follow it, they added even more layers to it to impress God. And yet God is there stood in front of them, and he's so unimpressed with them because they have just failed to understand the whole point of it. The whole point of trying to do good works to get to God is to show you that you can never make it on your own, to show you that you need God to come in and forgive you. Don't be someone who refuses to accept God's way of how to be made right with him. You know, I was speaking at a church a couple of years ago talking about when Jesus was in front of the religious leaders, and it's so sad, people who should have spent their whole life seeking after God, and yet God is there stood in front of them, and they just didn't get it. In fact, they got angry with him. Instead of accepting him, they rejected him. And the irony, after the service, a guy who was a vicar, who therefore technically is, you'd hope, would have some desire of wanting to follow God, of seeking God, didn't like it. In fact, he just responded like these religious leaders had to Jesus. He didn't like the fact that I was talking about it's Jesus, that him being religious was not good enough to get him to God. Don't be that person today. I'm praying in Jesus' name that you would be someone who accepts God's way of getting right with him, and you share that with the world around you. Let's not hold back. Let's share that Jesus is the answer. He is the way to be made right with God. You can receive that today. You can have that. Grab it with both hands today. As always, like, comment, share this message, and if you send me a personal message, I will pray for you if you've got anything you need prayer for. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.